Hello and welcome to this weather update. It is in the wee hours, a little after midnight on January 2nd, 2018. Hope your new year went well. Hopefully this will be a better year, but I want to talk about the weather because the weather is definitely better. If you like winter time, we're going to talk about some of the cold temperatures that we are experiencing. And it's so cold that the Hudson River has frozen. Yeah, the bay has frozen. The Great South Bay has frozen. We're going to look at that. Um, but first, we're going to look at these temperatures because it's pretty interesting. I'm going to tell you that right now. It's pretty interesting what's going on. So, you can see it's 10 degrees at West Hampton, but that's not the actual low temperature because there was some radiational cooling that occurred. And if we go and we hit the 3-day history, you'll see that the temperature actually dropped to -1 around 9 o'clock. It dropped to 1, -1. All right, that's 1 below 0. And it might have actually wound up going lower than that if it shows up here in the max min, because it was clear and there was a lot of radiational cooling going on. But then a few clouds rolled in and the wind picked up, so it kind of raised the temperature a little bit. And we're going to go ahead and look, because this is really interesting, the cold weather we've been having. If we go back, you can see, looking at all these observations here, only the mid-teens today. Only the mid-teens. That's all the temperatures got up to. And yesterday was in the teens too. And we've been below freezing now for quite a few days. And that's why things are starting to freeze. And this is very, very, very good news for finally, possibly putting a stop to the southern pine beetle epidemic. This cold weather will probably wind up wiping most of them out. So that's great. Let's see what it's like in New Jersey. 8 degrees over there at Miller Air Park, that's west of Toms River. And they also got down to -1. So again, they got down to -1. And I was actually in that area this evening. Did a hike, and I took some short video, nothing long, because the camera can't really take a long video without, saying low battery in this kind of cold weather. But I'll put links to those videos up here. They're on my other channel. But as you can see here, got down to -1, and I experienced this radiational cooling. How fast the temperature drops is amazing. And you can see it went from, literally when the sun went down, it went from like the upper teens, and once the sun started going down, it already started dropping, and literally within the course of an hour, the temperature dropped 10 degrees, almost 10 degrees, and you could feel that it was very cold outside. Just a light wind coming from the west off the Pine Barrens. The Pine Barrens is very good for radiational cooling because it's a very dry, arid kind of place that loses a lot of heat. The ground loses a lot of heat on clear nights when there's little wind and very dry air. So the temperature drops quite a bit. And that's what you're seeing here with the -1 reading. Below 0 in the Pine Barrens tonight. And this isn't even the worst of the cold. We're going to get even, well, I wouldn't say worst because I like this kind of air, but it's going to get even colder later on. So we also had a temperature drop at West Hampton that was actually even more rapid. It went from, in 1 hour, it went from 13 degrees to 2 degrees. That's an 11-degree temperature drop right there. That is insane. So that's how radiational cooling works. You get to see what it looks like. All right, let's take a look at what's happened to our bays. And then we're going to go look at some models because we may be looking at a possible snow event later Wednesday into Thursday. Okay, so we are now looking at an image from the MODIS satellite website. And you can see here clearly, if you look over here, this is all ice in the Great South Bay. The Great South Bay has completely iced over. Completely iced over. And this doesn't happen every winter. Well, it used to happen a lot when I was younger. And then the winters got warmer, and then we didn't have it. But this winter, it's definitely iced up completely. The Fire Island ferries are not running because of ice. And you can see even the Peconic Bay here is now starting to get ice too. This is all going to ice up. In fact, I wouldn't even be surprised if the ice starts forming in the western Long Island Sound too. We already have ice in the Hudson River. That's starting to ice over. And there's also ice in the bays too here in New Jersey as well. So these are icing up as well. So this is all going to be ice, and it's going to wind up being pretty thick because it's going to stay below freezing for the next 5 days at least, 5 to 7 days. It's going to stay. We may get close to freezing or maybe a little above next Monday, but we're going to look at the models and discuss that. But this is quite impressive to say the least. I mean, to see this kind of look at this. I mean, look at this ice here. There's ice. It's nuts. Ice. And I've seen this in January and February, but see it in December is to see it forming is. Look at it. You even have ice here. You even have ice here. Now, what's also very interesting is you're getting in some areas you're getting by the way the ocean is, you're getting sea smoke, which is a really interesting phenomenon that I'd like to check out. And the other thing is you're seeing all these clouds forming offshore, and this is because the ocean is still relatively warm. It's probably in the 40s, and you're taking this air that's in the teens and it's blowing over there. And I bet if you go further offshore, and I bet the Cape might be getting some snow showers from this. Sometimes you can actually have snow showers form over Long Island too. You can see most everything in our area has a snow cover, a light snow cover of maybe an inch to maybe 2 inches, mostly an inch or less. And as we go south, you can see the snow. There's no snow on the ground here yet. That's going to change though by Thursday, and that's what we're going to be talking about next. So let's go ahead and look at some computer models here. This is the GFS run 0Z, Tuesday, January 2nd. And we're going to take it through this week. You can see the cold air just continues to build in, and then we have this low pressure system starting to take shape off the southeast coast. However, the GFS seems to literally keeps the worst of it offshore. So we would just get a glancing blow. This is going to be quite a deep system. This is going to be a big storm. And that's what makes it so unpredictable, because it's a big storm and the potential is there. It's not to say we're going to get a bad storm, but the potential is there for a bad storm. However, if this GFS track verifies, it takes the worst of the heaviest snow offshore, so we would only get a light, maybe moderate snowfall. And we'll look at the snowfall accumulation from the GFS output, and then you see behind it, we're going to have really cold air. I mean, this is going to be the coldest air, this outbreak, some of the coldest air we've seen in quite some time. Our highs may struggle to reach the teens. They may struggle to reach the low teens. That's how cold it's going to be. And it's going to be really, really cold outside. So you can see as it moves offshore, we're going to get a return flow Monday. This a week from today. And that might bring us a little light rain. But this is way off in advance here. And then behind it, we have another reinforcing shot of cold air with a potential for a coastal storm around the 10th, around the period of the 10th. And you can see here that, again, it seems to want to build up the ridge, but then it cools down again. So it looks like, I mean, it should moderate a little bit as we head into the middle of January. But it's still going to be a lot of cold air, plenty of cold air around. And just to show you how cold this air that's going to be coming down is, I'll go ahead and look at the temperature, the actual air temperature for let's do let's do Friday. You can see, if you look over here, you can see that we have temperatures in the single digits just north, and these are highs. So this is pretty nuts, just north of the city. And then when Saturday comes, this shot is going to be coming right out of Canada. Look at these -35, -31 in Canada. I mean, that's really insane. That's really some really cold air, and we're going to get into some of that. It's going to come right down through Hudson Bay, and I think that Saturday we're going to see the highs may struggle, or really may struggle to reach the teens. Probably going to have a beautiful clear sky, but it's going to be extremely cold outside. So yeah, it'll make trying to get to the Pine Barrens interesting if I'm brave enough. And then it starts to retreat Sunday, and then we get a little bit of surge of warm air there, and then it cools off again, and we get another pretty cold plunge by Thursday around the 11th. We get another plunge, and then it moderates, but you can see it keeps the Arctic air right here in eastern. This is a good position for the Arctic air to keep coming down right down from Hudson Bay, right down, not going this way and taking the long way, but coming straight down. That's how we get our coldest temperatures here. And you can see, yeah, we're going to experience below normal weather, I think, for quite some time. And you're gonna get used to seeing ice on the lakes and ice on the rivers, because I don't think it's going anywhere. So we're gonna now go ahead and look at some of the other models as far as the so let's go back to the precipitation. All right, let's do the NAM model. Let's see how the NAM handles this storm here, this coastal storm. Yeah, it gives us a glancing blow too. So I'm thinking we're going to be getting a glancing blow from this coastal storm. I really do. That seems to be what the consensus is right now, but that could change. But that's the NAM. The NAM has shifted its track further east. The only model that seems to be keeping us getting slammed would be the Canadian. Yeah, that's much closer. The Canadian is not an accurate model for these type of storms. So, I don't even take it seriously. We're gonna just go ahead and look at the what the total snowfall would be in our area, and we'll just start with the Canadian. We'll start with the highest, and then we'll work our way through the other models. So this is the Canadian. Oh yeah, you see the Canadian wallops us. It definitely would give us close to a foot probably, and this is assuming a 10-to-1. It's going to be more than a 10-to-1 with these temperatures. Going to be less than a 10-to-1, I should say, or more. The number will be higher, so there'll be more fluff. But yeah, it would give us a substantially heavy snowfall. Nothing catastrophic, but a substantially heavy snowfall. Whereas if we go and we look at the GFS, yeah, it gives us very little, an inch or two, just like the other snowfalls we've had, which are great. It's just an inch or two. It doesn't mess anything up. It's enough to look pretty without getting around miserable. So let's go ahead and look at the NAM. Let's see what the NAM does. All right, the NAM is a little higher, more to like 5 inches here, but again, fairly light. So this seems to be the consensus for this event, is that it's going to stay offshore. We're going to be, dodging the worst of it. However, I will keep you posted if there are any changes. So stay warm out there and enjoy winter. And Happy New Year once again.